ladies.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. ¿Puedes regresarte a tu slide, Juliana, y presentarte? Gracias.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Juliana Ramirez. Like Areli said, I am the president CEO of JR Bookkeeping. I'm also a financial advisor with EDC. Um, I am a wife, a mom, a dream chaser. I was born and raised in Mexico City. My education comes from Santa Barbara City College, Oxnard City College, and most recently, I graduated from the Small Business Administration's Thrive Emerging Leaders. I have been a bookkeeper and an accounting expert for over 20 years. I'm actually celebrating 25 years in my accounting career. I am a certified QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, which means I am a pro at the QuickBooks Online software. Um, I have been with the EDC for over 5 years. I first was a client of EDC, um, getting the resources available and working with advisors who helped me shape my business, build my business, and now I'm able to be an advisor myself through EDC. So I'm very grateful for the resources available for small businesses, as I am one of them. And I'm hoping that today we can assist you and share with you our knowledge, but also let you know that you're not alone in your journey. As I mentioned, also as an advisor and as an accounting professional, I also collaborate with other organizations such as Women Economic Ventures, or WEAVE. I'm a bilingual instructor. I teach an entrepreneurial class, teaching business owners how to start, grow, and scale their business. And I'm a subject matter expert with the SCORE, which is also an affiliate of the SBA. I have been honored with some awards, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here. And now I'd like to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Luisa Arzate.
Gracias, Juliana. Gracias a la ciudad. Thank you so much to the city of Fillmore. And thank you tonight for all the attendees to be here. My name is Luisa Arzate. I am a business owner and entrepreneur just like you. I have a bachelor degree in education in Mexico, 15 years experience in graphic design. I have holistic marketing strategy for small businesses and 15 years experience in commercial printing. I also an EDC marketing business advisor and a startup mentor and program lead with the Mexican consulate. Thank you again for being here. Hopefully you can take some ideas for this seminar. At the end, we will have we will be open for questions. Write it down the questions, and we're here to support you. And let's start, Juliana. EDC. Who is EDC? Our organization is a non-profit organization that serves our community, serve Ventura County and Santa Barbara, specifically, and also with concentration in Los Angeles area. Focus on public and private partnerships, economic development, focus on business growth and retentions, entrepreneurships, and business attractions, regional research and analysis. That's what we do in EDC. We deliver business consulting, provide access to capital, and support strategic initiatives that supports the regional economy. In our team, we have about 18 staff members, and we are about 65 now, business advisors that we serve our community through counseling one-on-one and marketing websites, and more topics that your small business needs. May I have the next one? Thank you. Our mission and EDC is empower business owners to continue to grow. And our vision is to have a strong and healthy Ventura and Santa Barbara areas with growing economic and high quality life for everybody. Our values is provide a positive impact, collaboration. Like right now, we are collaborating with City of Fillmore and with an authentic and responsive actions. This is who we are in EDC, and everybody is welcome. What we offer in EDC is startup assistance, strategic planning, marketing and branding, e-commerce and social media support, legal compliance, human resources, operational assistance, manufacturing, finance and capital access, trade and export, import regulations, international trade internationals, support tech programs, and much more. EDC is a big organization. It's here for you. EDC is here for you. And at the end, you can ask any questions. We will be happy to answer if you are if you want to know more about it. Thank you, Juliana. Everything is at no cost. Forgot to say that. I'm going to talk briefly. This seminar is more about finances, and I'm going to talk very briefly about holistic approach to your business success. Why financials are important, and what other part of the business are important for you to have a strong success. I would like you to think that your business is like a body. Your company is like a human body. It has different parts, but only can function properly when all the parts work together towards the same goal. It's like your legs and your arms wants to go to one direction, but your head and your body wants to go to the other one. We don't work that way, right? We need to think about where are we going, and the body needs to follow those thoughts. That is something that is same as your company. So taking this idea to your business, this holistic idea supports these connections and suggests that looking at the big picture, it's important to get better results if you work together with everything. May I have the next one, please? So in this case, your business, same as your body, we have inside like organisms, right? We have our hearts, legs, arms. So in your business, you will have organisms. So you have structural organisms in your business: legal entity, license, EIN, resale number, business bank account, for example. Also, you have financial organisms: budgets, acquisitions, sales, profits. It's like the head. Production organisms, products and services that you offer, your process, your people, your systems. It's like your arms and your legs. But at the same time, that body can move if you don't have the inside thought. That is your psychological organisms. Why are you doing that business? For what? To whom? When? All of this is part of your business. And if you don't take care of one, it will not function correctly. This is holistic approach. With that being said, your structural organism is the foundation of your business. You can have a beautiful logo, a beautiful branding, but if you don't have a legal structure, you can't grow that business far. It's impossible. So your legal business structures will be your legal entity, business bank account, etc. Your financial organisms will be your financial plan. You can have your license, your business bank account, but if you don't have a plan, hardly you're going to keep growing. And your production organisms. If you have all your legal entities and you have your financials, but you don't have process in your business is not going to make it. If you have some process, but some products, but you don't know how are you doing the business well, without a business plan, it's going to fall apart soon. And the last but not the less important is your psychological organisms, that this will be your marketing plan. This will be the full branding. Why are you doing this? Towards what? So Juliana Ramirez is going to teach us today something related to the financials organisms and specifically in legal business structure. If you have more questions at the end, we're very happy. We're here for you. And please keep in mind legal business structure, financial plan, business plan, and marketing plan are your three documents that your business needs to have. We're here to help you in EDC as well. Thank you, Juliana.
Thank you, Luisa. I believe I need to refresh the page here for a second. Give me just a second. Again, I'm gonna go here. All right. I am so glad that Luisa was able to cover the different components and the holistic approach, because as you can see, if you're building a house and without one of the pillars, you may have the best marketing plan, but if you don't have, the right financial organism or the production organism, like a business plan, it's going to be hard, as well as if you don't have a good foundation. So I'm going to be touching on financial essentials for small businesses. And first, we are going to start with your goal in mind, right? Again, there is a reason that you are doing what you're doing. I'm also going to be covering choosing the right legal business structure for your business and the different types of entities that are available, and also learn some bookkeeping basics. Again, since I am going to be touching on that big pillar of the financial organism, it is important that you understand the ins and outs of what that means to your business. And of course, within that, understand accounting and financial management, as well as I'm going to be touching on taxes for small businesses. And like Lisa and everyone said already, we're going to have a Q&A at the end. So when you start your business, you want to, you're starting with your goal in mind, because everything that you do is going to drive towards that goal, right? Everything that you are doing, think about it. What is the goal? And then what are the objectives that you're going to work towards? So a goal is, what is the result, or what's the end result in mind? But the objectives is how you're going to get to that goal. So the first thing you have to think about is getting organized. If you're not organized, particularly in the financial world, it's going to be hard to know where you're at any given time. With that said, then you're going to need to set goals. And sometimes you're going to have short-term goals, and sometimes you're going to have long-term goals. So it is important to know what are the different steps that are going to take you to, again, your goal in mind. It is going to be important that you evaluate your budget, that you know how much it's going to cost you to either start this business. If you are already in business, how much is costing you now? What is your goal, so that you know what it's going to cost you also in the future? What are the things that you need to think about in all aspects of, the transactions in your business? Also, building savings is going to possibly also be something that you have as a goal. Or maybe it is paying off debt and scaling and growing your business. All of this is why you need the finances and the pillar of your finances in order. So once you have that end goal in mind, then you're going to start making steps. And or again, if you're already in business, making sure that you have all the steps in place. So for example, choosing the right legal business structure for your business. There are a few essential elements that you need to consider when you are choosing what structure to select for your business. You're going to need to consider your ownership rules, the risk and liability for your business, the tax and filing requirements, and how you withdraw money from that business. So these are the 4 most important considerations when you are trying to choose the right legal business structure. So let's go through them really quick. There are different types of businesses. There's going to be personal assets that you need to think about when you're choosing your business structure, but also you're gonna need to think about your business assets. So in choosing the right entity, what you are actually trying to do is protecting both your personal assets and your business assets. And I want to dive into these structures in a little bit more detail. So for a sole proprietor, it is a person, it's one person that owns that entity, and the liability is a limited personal liability. That means your assets for your business and the assets your personal assets are at risk. So you want to think about when you stay as a sole proprietor, that means that you are at risk in both personal, or you're personally liable for your personal and your business assets. Should there be a problem in your business and and you're involved in a lawsuit per se. Also, on the tax side, you are responsible for paying taxes in two areas. You need to pay self-employment tax, and you also need to pay personal tax. And so that is important to know. As a sole proprietor, you're paying double tax: self-employment for the income that your business is generating, and personal income tax for the profits of what the business generated and what that means to you personally and your household. Then we have partnerships. Partnerships are composed of two or more people. And the liability is also unlimited personal liability unless it is structured as a limited partnership. And for that, it is important to consult with a lawyer to see how you make that, structure, or how you register your business properly so that you can not be liable unlimited. And on taxes, it works very similar to a self-employment tax, which is, to a sole proprietor, which is self-employment tax, except for limited partners, and personal tax as well. Then we come to LLCs. These are the most common lately. Limited liability companies. It's also for one or more people. The owners are not personally liable. So again, think about this image and what your personal assets and your business assets are. And so you are personally liable. You are not personally liable under a LLC. And when it comes to the taxes, you are still responsible for paying self-employment tax, and you have to pay either personal or corporate tax, depending on if you make an election to be treated as an S Corp or not. Then we have corporations. We have two types of corporations, Corporation C and Corporation S. All corporations start as a C corporation, and they can opt to be treated as an S corporation. So on a C corporation is one or more people as well. Owners are not personally liable, and they do pay corporate tax. You may have heard of double taxation, and it is important to know that as an owner, you become the employee of your own corporation, and that is how you will get paid and pay taxes personally as an employee. However, if your business has income, your corporation C has income, and you take that income as a dividend for yourself, meaning in addition to your payroll, in addition to getting paid a salary from your own corporation, then you would also have to pay personal taxes on that additional income. So it is important to know that as a C Corp, yes, you only pay tax once as a corporation, but if you take the profits from that corporation in addition to a salary, then you do pay taxes on that income as well. As an S corporation, it is also for one or more people, but no more than 100. This is why it's a small corporation. And one requirement is that all owners must be U.S. citizens in order to be considered an S corporation. The liability are that the owners are not responsibly liable, and however, they do pay personal tax, because what the S corporation does is a pass-through entity, which means all of the profits of the business become your own personal profits. However, I'm sorry, regardless if you take the money or not, or if you leave it in the business. The advantage of this is that you pay tax when you report that on your income taxes. And if you are an employee of your own corporation, you would have already paid that tax as well. Similar to a C corporation, you will also be required to be on salary as an employee of your own corporation. And you pay the taxes for as an employee of that corporation. And again, any additional profits of the business become your income, and you pay taxes at that personal tax level, which ends up saving you some money. And again, it's regardless if you take it all or if you leave it in the company. But the beauty of that is that even if you don't take it all, when you do take it, there's no additional tax that you have to pay, because you would have already paid it, when you reported that profit for the business. Then there are other corporations or organizations or types of entities, like a benefit corporation, which is one or more people. Owners are not personally liable, and they also pay corporate tax. And nonprofit organizations are also one or more people. Owners are not personally liable, and as a nonprofit, you're tax exempt. But corporate profits can't be distributed, which means because it's a not-profit organization, the owner, quote unquote, does not, is not able to distribute those funds, meaning the income cannot go to that person. It has to stay within the organization. Now, choosing the right legal business structure is going to depend on a few things: protecting your assets, minimizing your income tax and capital gains tax, simplifying the administration, achieving your retirement objectives, and achieving your estate planning objectives as well. The right business structure for your situation will depend on a number of considerations. The most important is usually asset protection and the liability to reduce the overall tax rate. So how much in taxes you're going to save or you want to save on, as well as how much do you need to protect. So for example, if you are someone that owns a home or several assets and also owns a business, and there is once again an issue with that business, like a damage to a client, or you are end up in a lawsuit, protecting your personal assets is going to be important. And that is something that you want to consider. How much is at risk when I am going to, choose this structure? So the degree to which asset protection is important to you depends on the type of business you are in or going into. This is also going to be important because if you're a business that, runs very little risk of creating some type of damage to their customers or their vendors, and or within their own location, you may not need to, quote unquote, be worried as much as someone that can run that risk depending on the activity that they do. So think about this when you are choosing the structure. Now, I want to jump into registration and compliance for your business. You need to register your business within the entity that you are required. You may need to obtain business licenses and permits from the city that you operate out of, or from the multiple cities that you operate out of. You need to comply with local, state, and federal regulations, and also meet health and safety standards, depending on the type of business that you are. And most importantly, you need to ensure that you have ongoing compliance. Remember, the process and requirements can vary significantly based on your location and the specifics of your business. It is important to always consult local and state resources directly for the most accurate and up-to-date information. So it is important for you to check what type of business licenses does my business require so that I know that I'm compliant with each of the city, county, or state government agencies for this, to be able to operate your business. Now I'm going to jump into bookkeeping basics, and I'm going to touch a lot on this because it is, again, a big pillar within any business structure. And first and foremost, I want to share a little bit about the difference between bookkeeping and accounting, because while you may think they're the same thing, they're not necessarily the same thing. So bookkeeping is the process of managing financial books by documenting transactions, managing accounts, and recording financial data. However, accounting is the process of using the documentation and data gathered by a bookkeeper to assess the financial health of a business and make financial projections. So in other words, think about someone that's doing all the data entry, reconciling the books, and preparing financial statements. And then think of the accountant as someone that's looking at the work that the bookkeeper has already done and interpreting those numbers. What do the numbers tell us? That's the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. One is doing the day-to-day. Most business owners are their own bookkeepers, right? But you need an expert in accounting to be able to understand those finances. Now, the bookkeeping responsibilities consist of recording financial transactions, posting debits and credits to the journal entry or to a journal, preparing financial statements, and processing payroll if you have employees. However, for accounting responsibilities, it's reviewing and analyzing financial statements, preparing adjusting entries. This is, something that it's outside of the norm of a business, just at the end of the year, making sure that, depreciation is calculated, or any tax or any benefits, that any adjustments to inventory or anything like that, that's usually left to, again, a professional or the accountant to know how to apply those entries. Perform audits, ensuring that everything can be audited, that there is a process, that there is a system. And of course, file relevant tax returns. So always understand that a bookkeeper is not the same as an accountant. And a bookkeeper and accountant are not always necessarily the same as a tax accountant. So understand that in your business, you're going to need those three different roles. And you can find, all those within one individual, or you may need to hire a couple of different individuals for these tasks. Now, within the bookkeeping basics, what you need to know is tracking finances is tracking your income, your expenses, your assets, your debt, your equity, as well as budgeting, record the past so that you can project for the future, and prepare for taxes, right? Making sure that you have the right documentation, that it's being recorded accurately, that nothing's missing, nothing is extra, reporting income, deducting expenses, and minimize the risk of errors or audits. That's what bookkeeping gives us. And also within the accounting, it's ensuring that you can produce a profit and loss statement, or also known as the income statement, a balance sheet, a statement of cash flow so you can know where the money went, accounts receivable, accounts payable. This is managing how you monitor the income from your clients and the process of that, as well as the income for the expenses for your vendors. Budgeting, again, analyze the past so that you can plan for the future, and prepare for taxes. You want to review your financial statements, file tax return with state and federal government agencies. And there are certain tools that you can use to your advantage, right? And choosing the right tool is going to be very important, because what you want to look into in a software is to cover automation, invoicing and billing, being able to invoice your customers and request payment, as well as expense tracking, be able to run reports, and how easy you can access the software. So user-friendly bookkeeping software for a small business. We have some examples here, such as QuickBooks Online, Sage, FreshBooks, Xero, and Soho. These are, different accounting softwares that can help you to do all of this. Now, I'm going to jump into a little bit of taxes. As I mentioned, I'm not a tax accountant, but I do understand enough, to know what are the different requirements for you as a business owner. So once again, note that I'm not a tax expert, but if you have questions about filing your taxes or how to deduct expenses for your small business, you should consult a tax professional or filing service. And the following information is meant to be helpful for expense tracking. So there are tax obligations and strategies that every business owner can take. All businesses are subject to a variety of taxes. Understanding these obligations is crucial for legal compliance and financial health. First and foremost, we have income tax. All businesses are required to pay income tax on their earnings, and zero tax if they have no earnings and instead they have losses. So for sole proprietors and partnerships, this often means reporting business income on personal tax returns. On corporations and LLCs, they may be subject to corporation tax rates, as I previously mentioned. So understand that every business that is making money needs to pay income tax. Also, there is employment tax. If you hire staff or if you have employees, you're responsible for withholding income taxes. Social Security and Medicare taxes from their wages is what you would normally withhold, but you will also need to pay that employer portion. That means you will have to match those Social Security and Medicare taxes along with federal unemployment and FUTA taxes. So again, when you pay your employees, they are paying their own personal tax and you're withholding that from them, but also you also as an employer need to contribute and match those taxes, and that is what the payment would look like. So employment tax if you have employees, or if you're a corporation and employ yourself as an employee of your corporation, this would also apply in that regard. And there's also state taxes. In California, you may also be subject to state income taxes, sales taxes on products you sell, and state unemployment taxes. Very important to know that if you are selling a product, a tangible product, that sales tax applies depending on, where you sell it, how you sell it. If you sell it in state or out of state, if your customer comes to your store, or if you ship it to your customer, sales tax applies, in different ways. But it applies. And again, unemployment tax is if your employee, needs to be laid off, and they have that right to claim unemployment. So it is important to know that as a business, you have these obligations, and you can also, create some strategies. I mentioned one of them would be if you become a corporation and make yourself the employee of your corporation, you can save on taxes and avoid having to pay double taxes. So strategies for managing these obligations include setting aside a portion of income tax for tax purposes, usually between 15 to 25% of your net income, as staying informed on tax law changes and consulting with a tax professional for planning and compliance is also, a great benefit and a huge savings too. Now, I do want to go into a little bit more about setting up your own bookkeeping system. You are going to want to choose a bookkeeping method. There is the cash basis and the accrual basis. Within the cash basis, recording transactions when money changes hands. So in other words, when you get paid for the services or when you pay for services is the cash basis method. Under the accrual method, on the accrual basis method, it's when you record when transactions occur regardless of payment. That is, if you render services to a client and you send them an invoice, even if you haven't gotten paid, but you report that as income already, or similar in expenses. When you incur those expenses, you get an invoice from your vendor, even if you haven't paid it, you account for that. So that's the accrual method. Selecting, like I mentioned earlier, the right tools is going to be important. Spreadsheets are common, but I personally don't recommend them because it can leave room for human errors. such as transcribing numbers or missing a number, missing a zero, or missing information there. So this is why, again, I encourage you to think about obtaining or utilizing an accounting software such as QuickBooks, Xero, or FreshBooks. And of course, there's a lot more, like I shared in a previous slide. Also setting up your chart of accounts. The chart of accounts is the list that helps you organize all of the income, expenses, assets, liabilities, accounts. And for that, I always recommend that you look at your annual tax form. So if you're a sole proprietor, that would be Schedule C. If you are a corporation, that would be Form 1120, right? Or a 1095 if you are in an LLC. Here is what the tax form looks like. You will notice that under Part 1, you have the income section, which is where you would report the income from labor or materials or anything that you bring in to your business in revenue. You will also need to track your cost of goods sold. That is line item number 4 on your tax form. You're going to need to know to report how much it costs you to operate your business, or I'm sorry, to sell your product. This is for businesses that sell a particular product. If you're in the service industry, you may not have cost of goods sold, but you may have certain expenses that are a direct cost doing your service or providing your service. However, if both businesses are going to have operating expenses, and this is Part 2 within this form, you will see that, there are different categories that the tax return will require for you to complete. And to the right, I have a basic list of how you should be organizing your chart of accounts. That means what are your assets, your liabilities, your equity, your income, and your expenses, so that it can be as easily tracked or, entered into your tax form. If you're a corporation, you normally are going to be required to fill out a Schedule L or a balance sheet, which will also come from your chart of accounts. Again, if you look at the comparison of the basic list to the right and look at your balance sheet, you will see that you are required or able to organize that information or report that information on your tax return. So I always recommend that you look at that tax form. But a few best practices for tracking income and expenses: track everything from day one and record everything. Don't skip any transactions. This is from day one, to me, is when you started your business, when you had your first expense, even if it was an expense that was paid with your own personal funds. Keep receipts and invoices. These are essential for tax deductions and audits, most importantly for audits or when there is a question. Separate business and personal finances. Use separate accounts to simplify bookkeeping. You don't want to commingle. It is not recommended. Stay organized. Organize receipts and invoices by month or by quarter. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you a way that maybe you can get organized in that manner. Regularly reconcile your accounts. Match your bank statements to your accounting records on a monthly basis. This will ensure that you're up to date, and again, that you're not missing information or you don't have extra information or wrong information. I also want to point you to Publication 583. There is the link here on this slide, but you can also search Publication 583 and make sure that it's directly from the IRS website. This publication provides basic federal tax information for people who are starting a business, and it also applies to existing businesses. And it also provides information on keeping records and illustrates a record-keeping system. Again, great tips for you to know how to stay organized and maximize your expenses. Now, it is important to know that there are 5 essential elements to every transaction in bookkeeping. That is who, how, when, what, and how much. Who is the payee? Either your customer or your vendor. If your customer is paying you, who is that person? And if you are paying, who are you paying money to? The how is how it was paid. That is a payment account. Bank, cash, credit card, loan, personal funds, etc. The when is the date of the transaction. The what would be the category or the type of expense. This is from the chart of accounts that I previously shared. What is that category? What type of expense was this? So for example, if it's an expense, it could be advertising, rent, or supplies. But if it's type of income, it could be services or product sales. And how much? This is the amount. This is going to be essential in everything that you do that has to do with financial activity in your business, regardless of how you of how you keep record of that. Now, once again, bookkeeping can simplify tax season because it can track deductions, keep detailed records to maximize those deductions. You want to avoid scrambling. You want to organize your records, which means no last minute scrambling at tax time, and accurate tax reporting, making sure that you have proper records, and it will reduce the risk of errors or audits. And here's a suggestion of how you can organize your digital records. For example, you can create a folder either physically on your filing cabinet or in the computer where you can put the year of bookkeeping. So let's say 2025 bookkeeping, and then you can create folders within that year's bookkeeping, such as 1099s. This folder I use to keep everything related to my subcontractors, like my W-9 forms and the 1099s that I issue at the end of the year. You can also have a folder for when you don't know what to do with something to your accountant. Your bank statements, if you have multiple accounts, either bank and credit card statements, you can create a folder within that folder for each of those accounts and then save all your receipts. I always recommend that even though you may have access to them electronically by logging onto your bank, saving them in a folder like this will make it easy for you to access them all at once or all in one place versus just having to log on to each portal if you ever need it. Having it in one place ensures that you can access that easily. If we're in California, so if you file sales taxes, having your CDTFA, that's the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, filings and reports and supporting documents, making sure that you save those in one place as well. Check images, if you save copies of your checks, again, you may have access to them online on your bank, but having them saved in one place, it's gonna guarantee or help and ease the process, as well as deposit images. So if you get checks from your clients and you make copies of those, that you also save them. Expense receipts, this is everything related to money you pay out. So if you go to a gasoline station and you save that receipt, that is your proof for that expense, as well as any larger expenses, or most importantly, larger expenses, and your sales reports. If you use a platform such as Square or Shopify or Amazon or any platforms that you use, or a POS system that you use for your sales or for processing your sales or tracking your sales, making sure that you save those as well into a folder. So this is a suggested method. It doesn't mean that it has everything, but this is a start, especially if you've been wondering how you can get organized, that this is a great way to start. Now, I already mentioned automating your task using the software. I will continue to encourage that. When in doubt, or when you are not certain about a particular task or how to handle something, consider hiring a bookkeeper as your business grows too, right? Set up a routine, like scheduling regular bookkeeping time, like a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Also use cloud-based tools, access your records from anywhere with cloud software, making sure that once you select an accounting software, it can be accessed easily versus being installed on a computer and then running the risk that you are not able to access that file. And also use mobile apps to your advantage, by, either capturing receipts or logging expenses on the go with accounting apps, including maybe tracking your mileage. Use applications that can help you. And once again, what can you keep? I did mention that publication 583, that is where you will be able to find a table with what the IRS recommends you keep and for how long. depending on your situation. However, keep records of all income and expenses, bank and credit card statements, receipts for purchases, payroll records if you have employees, and documentation for tax deductions and credits you plan to claim. I already shared a way that you can save all of those. And the IRS recommends keeping tax records for at least 3 years from the above date filed, from the original return, or 2 years from the date you paid the tax, whichever is later. Again, I mentioned the publication because that is, you will find a table of what the recommended and the statute of limitations for if you were to ever be audited, what is, what it would be required. So obviously implementing a consistent system for organizing and storing these documents can save significant time and effort, especially if you're audited. And digital record bookkeeping or record keeping systems often included in bookkeeping software, like I mentioned, QuickBooks, can simplify this process by allowing you to store and categorize financial documents electronically. And believe it or not, we're at the end of this presentation. I hope that it's been helpful and that you have gained insights about how to move forward with your business. Take it away, Luisa.
Thank you so much, Juliana, Erica, Arely, City of Fillmore, for giving us the opportunity to serve our community through this webinar. And hopefully it's a lot of information for small businesses, Juliana. When you are in the first, second, or third year of your business, you have a lot of questions, and we can help our participants. One-on-one consultation, no cost, but we would like to see if there's any questions now.
Thank you so much, ladies, again for taking the time to share this important information for everyone. And so now it's a time to open up for any questions. So if anyone has any questions, just please raise your hand on the icon below, and then they'll be happy to answer any questions. And I do see here that there's a question on here, if this presentation will be sent out at the end of the presentation, or will be sent out. And this is being recorded, and yes, you can go ahead and send that over as well.
Yes, we will make a copy of this presentation available in a PDF format so you guys can have it for reference if you need it.
I just see a question from David. David, you've been on mute, so you can ask your question.
Yeah, hi. I do have a question in regards to where we would be able to, like, let's say if we need to file paperwork for for like a company name or stuff like that, to make it more official. Is there like an office we would have to go to, or is it all done online?
So depending on the type of business that you are, can you share with us what type of business you have or you are planning?
It's an idea. It's been kind of in the works. Maybe like a pop-up ice cream pop-up, or so, like for food handling. Would that have to be done again at in an office somewhere, or would that be done like online?
Yeah, so the reason that I ask what type of business it is, because depending on the type of business, you may need to file or request a business license and permit. So for example, in your case, first you need to register with the city, right, that you are operating for your business. Actually, before that, if you're going to be using a name other than your personal name for your business, you want to file a fictitious business name with your county. So
Okay.
if Fillmore, that would be the county of Ventura. So you want to file your fictitious business name with the county of Ventura. Secondly, you would want to register in your city so that you are operating, because you will be operating out of the city, right? Then at the same time, you need to learn if the type of business that you're starting is going to be allowed in your county. Because you are dealing with food, and that's the health and safety, you will need a health permit. and health permits are going to be issued based on the type of business that you are, and
Okay.
and contingent on the fact that you meet all the requirements like the food, food handling and safety.
Right.
Operating out of a food truck versus operating out of your home,
Right.
obviously handled differently. So make sure that the type of business that you are going to be operating, it's allowed in your county and in your city, because that's going
Right.
to determine what you do. Now, where you file this, again, you can visit the website. I'm going to really quick show you where you can find a business startup guide within our website. So if you go to edccollaborative.com, you will find that under business resources, if you go to Ventura County, you will drill down to Ventura County Business Startup Guide.
Oh,
And
okay.
when you click
Okay.
on English or Spanish, depending what on your preference, you will find an actual business startup guide that will take you step by step, and even give you contact information for where
okay.
to go. And so I'm just gonna scroll down just so that everybody can see. Notice how it's going to start with that business plan that Luisa mentioned, setting up the foundation for your business. But also here's where you can confirm the permit and license requirements. So depending on the city that you're located, and also understanding if you need to have a Ventura County license, steps for obtaining your permits and licenses. I mean, this guide is a full list of everything that you need to do step by step, and even the links to those websites that you can either find out more information regarding, do you need to go in person or can it be done online? Because depending on the business license that you need for your business, it's what you're going to have to, to do. An example is the county. You will need to go to the county to file your fictitious business name. You can start the process online, but you will need to go in person to finalize the process.
Nice. Thank you.
Particularly, other agencies. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You can find the link that Juliana was talking about in the chat.
Thank you.
And we can share also the PDF document that you share, Juliana, our Ventura County Business Startup Guide, with the city of Fillmore, so everybody can have access.
Mm-hmm. And also know that when you visit our website, you can find more about the different programs that we offer. You can also find more about the advisors that you can have access to once you become a client. So if you click on business advisors, you'll be able to read a bio of all the advisors. You will see Lisa there listed, and you can learn more about her and even how to contact her. You will also find myself in there. Just look for the red hair. And then you'll find me there. I mean, there is an array of great advisors that will be able to help you.
I would like to add that you can have access to all of these advisors at no cost. We are serving our community through EDC, no cost to you. You are welcome to enroll as a client with EDC. It's no cost. We can help you in different areas of your business with specific advisors in every topic that your business needs.
Luisa, I did see another hand.
Yes.
Luis Nunez.
Okay. What will be the question?
Luis?
Oh,
yes.
So also, do you guys have on the Fillmore website like opening a business step by step, and then it shows the form. It's basically what you guys just give us on the presentation as well. But my question is, once business is built, or the business has been built step by step, how it's shown, do you guys also offer any type of financial grants that we can apply for once we have our business set up?
So we occasionally have grants available depending on where you are located. However, what EDC mainly offers is financing through different loan programs. So it could be a loan program that that your city offers, and we can help you get, prepared for that and manage that. But once you connect with your advisor and look at the type of of the state of your business or the stage that your business is in, occasionally, like I said, we do have grants and or know of grants that are available to businesses in either your area. Currently, at EDC, we don't have a grant program available currently, but we've had in the past. We assisted a lot during the COVID and assisted in the process of applying for the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan for businesses that were affected currently by the fires or affected by by any of the natural disasters. So again, short answer, no grant program through EDC, but there are a lot of programs out there that we can help you navigate if you need, to find out more about those. But definitely more the grant programs. And again, you can learn more about those by visiting our website.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Let's see. Erica?
I don't see any other questions. No.
I don't see any other questions either, and I'm so sorry. And I also wanted to introduce our newly appointed city manager, Erika Herrera Terriquez, who has been played a monumental role in making this happen. And I don't know if she wants to turn on the camera and say hello to everyone, but I know it's really important to her to collaborate with our local businesses and see everyone thrive. So, hi, Erika.
Hi, thank you so much for taking the time to participate. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, and we will continue to partner with EDC and bring these type of workshops for the community. And if you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to reach us at the city, and we'll be happy to also provide you with guidelines of where you can get the information. And I just noticed that for some reason my camera is not working, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I did turn it on. So thank you very much for participating tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I would like to hear from the attendees in the chat, what other topics are you interested in the near future for other webinars? What your business needs? Please let us know in the chat. We are here for you. We are hearing you.
Yes, thank you so much, ladies. And I don't see any at the moment, but I'm sure they can always reach out to you ladies who are here at the city to let us know what topics they'd like to hear about. And, we're really grateful to partner up with you because, these ladies are not just professors giving out the information that, have never had a business before. These are, ladies that have had their business or they're currently in business and, they've seen it all and they've gone through those struggles. So, from talking to them, they definitely want to help the businesses out. So we're really grateful to be partnering up with you guys.
Thank you again, and we are here to help you to continue collaborating with our local small businesses. And thank you again, Juliana.
Yeah, no, thank you too for the opportunity and for allowing us to share this information and let you know that we are a resource. We definitely will look at your feedback. We look forward to hearing from you, and we hope that you will join, our client base so that, you can get all the assistance that you need. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us tonight and for the opportunity. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.